I remember where I was when I finished it, because I was in bed with my own husband.
Yeah.
And I was like, shh,
Yeah.
no more noise, because I was so invested in these characters. And I think sometimes creating a world where people want to stay up late into night, I call it like the flashlight reading, is because you yourself were sort of like not burdened by the story, but overcome with it.
If I can't sleep, no one can sleep. And I love the hard thing about writing a story is that you don't actually get to experience that feeling. Like, I'm so in the weeds that I don't know what it was like to fall in love with Lachlan because I was creating him, if that makes sense. So I love the idea that people are up there turning pages way past their bedtime, because that's one of my favorite experiences as a reader. So it's totally surreal that I have now created that experience for other people.
Anna McCallie's debut novel, Abby Offsides, is a fizzy romantic comedy for fans of Ted Lasso. I love it so much, it's actually one of the novels I'm publishing with my imprint, Thousand Voices. Abby Offsides follows Abby McIntyre, who, after calling off her engagement, makes a series of spontaneous decisions. She quits her job, moves to England, gets bangs, and finds herself working for a Premier League football club. Its author, Anna McCallie, has taken an unexpected path herself. She grew up in Kansas and went on to earn degrees in both Arabic and international environmental policy from Harvard. Today, she lives full-time in London, where she has developed a complete obsession with British culture, and more specifically, football. She has turned her love of the sport, romance, and storytelling into her very first novel. Join us as we talk about her journey to becoming a writer, the inspiration behind Abby Offsides, and what comes next as she embarks on this exciting new chapter. I'm Jenna Bush Hager, and this is Open Book. I am so excited to be joined by one of my favorite new writers. She actually is the debut writer of Abby Offsides, Anna McCallie. Anna, and I know, you also named your character Abby.
I know.
And I call you Abby.
Yeah, it happens.
I call her Anna.
I swear it was subconscious. It was just, that was her name. And then when I signed with my agent, she was like, so this book is about you, right? That's why you named the character basically after yourself.
And is it about you?
No. I mean, certain elements are definitely influenced from my life. I also moved to the UK and kind of rebuilt my life there. But the most important thing is that I have not yet met and fallen in love with a very handsome Scottish football player. So
it's not over.
Now I know we're manifesting.
It's not over.
Yeah.
Okay, so because this is just out, for those that haven't read Abby Offsides, tell us what it's about.
Yeah, it is about a woman named Abby, funnily enough, and she lives in Boston. She works for the Red Sox, and she discovers that her fiance has been having a years-long affair. Mm-hmm. So she decides that she needs to radically reboot her life. She impulsively quits her job. She interviews for a position at a professional soccer team in Liverpool, which is a sport she's never followed. And she hops on a flight and just starts over in Liverpool. And so then the book is about her journey towards finding and building a new life there, and the friends she meets along the way, and then of course meeting the very handsome star soccer player, and sparks fly.
It is, I've told you this, but when I read it, I wrote to one of the editors, I just finished Abby Offsides. It's fizzy and it's fun. I use the word fizzy basically every time I describe it, which is to say, it feels like there's this sort of effervescence to Abby herself. She's funny, she's complicated. She's not just like a straight up flat one-dimensional character.
Yeah, I appreciate that. I worked very hard to make her seem real. I don't find books about perfect people interesting. I want to see characters who are flawed. She's deeply flawed. She does not have all the answers, but she has this kind of relentless optimism, even when things feel hard, that she's like, all right, I can figure this out. I can do it. I just have to keep going. And that was really fun to write.
Is that Is that part true to you?
Depends on the day.
I mean, it feels a little true to you, just only in that I know you have written more than one thing.
Yes.
You've been rejected more than once.
Yeah.
Talk about your path to this book being published.
Yeah. So I always say this is the 5th book I've written, the 3rd book I've finished, and the 1st book I've sold. And that history stretches back probably 15 years. I was not a person who grew up thinking I want to be an author. It just I felt like I missed the memo where you sign up and say that's what you want to do. So I had all these different careers. I studied different stuff. And then in my mid-20s, I was working with a girl named Kate McGovern. She's an amazing children's author. And I watched her write, edit, get an agent, publish a book. And it just unlocked this idea that, oh, you can do this, even if you didn't write it in your kindergarten dream journal. And yeah, that started me on a path towards writing and figuring out what kind of stories I wanted to tell.
So I want to get to that, like the catalyst for everything and for this book. But I guess talk about sort of hearing no.
Yeah.
And also not finishing or not, whatever it is, and how you persisted.
Yeah. This industry, you will get rejected. And it's hard. I mean, I like achieving things. I like having a goal.
Said the Harvard student.
I teeter up for that. We have to mention it.
Yeah.
I like the goalposts always move. It's always nice to be striving for something, but you have to have this kind of, like I said about Abby, this relentless optimism that it will happen if you keep persisting, but you absolutely will get rejected. And the first book I wrote, I thought, oh my God, this is it. This is the next Hunger Games. I'm going to be a billionaire. People will be foolish to turn this down, because you do have to have kind of a delusional hubris too. And they did reject it. And
was it sci-fi?
Yeah, it was like a dystopia. Yeah, it was like a young adult dystopia, fully divergent vibes. Huh. Yeah. And it was bad because I got to the end of it and it was a planned trilogy. And I just thought, if I have to write another book in this series, I'm going to lose my mind. So I didn't fully believe in that one, let's say, but I still thought I could sell it, which is a real just mismatch of emotion.
And yet you still continued. And what's interesting is you completely changed genre.
Yes.
Abby Offsides is a romance, but I would say it's sort of like, and this is all publishing jargon, but like upmarket romance.
Yeah.
It's definitely a more literary. There's things to discuss. It could be book clubby if you're interested.
Yeah. Yeah. It was very important to me that Abby had an arc outside of Lachlan, her love interest. I wanted to see her growth as a character. And yes, it's wonderful to see the ways that he makes her better and that she makes him better. But I also, she has a standalone journey that she's on, which was important to me.
So talk about, we talked about sort of how you persisted in that unrelentless optimism, which I love. Talk about romance as a genre.
Yeah.
Were you a fan? What do you like about it as a writer?
Yeah, I am a fan. I don't read it exclusively, but I do love it. I think as a reader, it's just like wrapping yourself in a nice blanket. You feel safe. You know that there's going to be a happy ending and you're just trying to figure out how you're going to get there. As a writer, it's similar. You have these guardrails. You have a structure. I like to play in it a little bit and maybe have that more element of women's fiction, but it's nice to know you can see the runway and you know you need to land the plane. That gives you a little bit of a safety net. Mm-hmm.
So you, like Abby, the character, your bio isn't wild.
Yeah. Yes, I have a hard time deciding what I want to be when I grow up.
You studied Arabic, you studied environmental studies and policy.
Yeah.
Did you work in either of those fields?
Nope.
No, that's
Nope.
okay.
Yep. Thanks for all the education, Dad. But didn't ever have a job related to either of those things.
So you went to Harvard and you graduated. You worked in New York.
Yep.
And kind of like Abby, and this is where probably your agent was like, "Is this you?"
Yeah.
You decided to uproot your life.
Yes. I had always been curious about London and about England in general, like probably since I read Pride and Prejudice as a kid. And
I love that Jane Austen was the one that was
I
like,
know.
"Come join us."
She's like, "Come here. Everybody's repressed. It's great." I was like, that sounds good. Yeah. And, Lord of the Rings and the description of the Shire. And it just sounded like a beautiful place. And then I went as a tourist for the first time and saw a double-decker bus and was like, oh my God, those are real. So it's just had this feeling of, yeah, I want to be here. And then it just became a question of how do I make that happen?
So talk about that moment when you thought like, okay, I'm doing this. And what that move has given you.
It has given me everything. I feel so strongly that the UK is the place that I was meant to be. And it really helps that my friends and family in the US are all spread out. Mm-hmm. It would be a lot harder if everyone was in one place because then I just have unbearable FOMO. But they're everywhere. So it's okay that I'm far away.
Together.
Yeah, exactly. They're not all hanging out without me.
Yeah.
They know they're not allowed to hang out without me. But as soon as I started meeting British people and just experiencing the culture more, I just felt at home. I love the sense of humor. I love the history. I love the art and the architecture. I even love the weather, and I'm like, not ironically, I love gray and rainy.
Oh, good. Well, then New York is perfect.
I know New York
for you
is doing great right now. Yeah.
What's interesting is when somebody uproots their life, it takes a certain amount of courage.
Yeah.
And it also, and as you said, optimism that you're going to find, because you live far away from your family, that you're going to find a chosen family.
Yes. Yeah. I'm very brave, Jenna. Thank you. It was great and terrifying, and I'm a very social person, so it's really important for me to have people and to have friends. And I was traveling a lot for work, so it was very hard to establish a community. And then like the pandemic hit, and then all of a sudden it was, okay, I can't travel. So who are my people going to be in these times? Who are the people I'm going to spend Christmas and New Year's and my birthday with? And out of that, and then just because they are amazing people, it really turned into this chosen family. And I love them to death. They're also so funny. I'm just stereotyping all British people at this point, but they're all very funny.
You're like also your chosen family.
Yes. Yeah.
You're like, in order to be my chosen family, you must be hilarious.
Yeah. Why would I hang out with you if you can't make me laugh? What are you bringing to the table?
Exactly.
Yeah.
But did that play into, because in Abby Offsides, we meet Abby, this woman whose life became, or the life as she knew it in America was over.
Yeah.
So she moved to the UK, and she finds herself surrounded with football stars.
Yes.
Who become her family.
Yeah.
Is that part of the reason that you know what that impact is, why people need that?
Yeah, I think that was what was most fun to write, because I love those characters, and I love the idea of a team being friends with each other. I think that's all I ever want. It's what I want when I watch a show. I want to think the actors are all besties. I want all the teammates to be friends. So that was fun. And then it was, since I had experienced that firsthand of not knowing anybody and having to build something from scratch, it was almost cathartic to kind of reflect on my own experience and watch Abby do the same thing with the players and the other staff at the club. It was very fun.
So I just learned, and I've hung out with you a few times.
Yeah.
that this book began as a bedtime story to yourself.
Yes. I thought you were going to say that I love queso, which is another thing we need to talk about.
Oh, I know.
Yeah.
I'm glad that we went to a party together and I just kept bringing
I know, it was
queso
the
bites.
best. I was like, okay, I found the right publishing home. Yes, this book started as a bedtime story. I have a really hard time falling asleep sometimes. And I was thinking, all right, what if I just...
Is that because you're so brilliant, your brain just turns and turns and turns?
That's one way to define anxiety. Yeah. So I just thought to myself, like, all right, I'm going to imagine a woman and I'm going to just think about the mundane details of her life. What does her hair look like? What's she wearing? What does her office look like? And try to have it be just exciting enough that it drowned out the other thoughts, but not so exciting that I was staying up thinking about her. Unfortunately, I failed, and she became too exciting because night after night she ended up at a club with a man, and there was something wrong about it. And I just kept coming back to it. And I was telling my friend Charlie, oh, I've totally failed at this insomnia cure. And he was like, yeah, that's because you're writing a book. And I just hadn't even thought of turning it into a story. And as soon as he said it, I just thought, oh my God, he's right. And so I started writing it down.
I love that so much.
Yeah.
I love it too because it kept you up late. And I've said this a million times to you, but to everybody listening, this is the type of book that I remember where I was when I finished it because I was in bed with my own husband.
Yeah.
And I was like, shh,
Yeah.
no more noise because I was so invested in these characters. And I think sometimes creating a world where people want to stay up late into night, I call it like the flashlight reading, is because you yourself were sort of like not burdened by the story, but overcome with it.
If I can't sleep, no one can sleep. And I love the hard thing about writing a story is that you don't actually get to experience that feeling. Like I'm so in the weeds that I don't know what it was like to fall in love with Lachlan because I was creating him, if that makes sense. So I love the idea that people are up there turning pages way past their bedtime because that's one of my favorite experiences as a reader. So it's totally surreal that I have now created that experience for other people.
You said this wasn't even a dream of yours.
No.
Like writing a book wasn't even a dream, and yet here you are publishing a book.
Yeah.
What's your advice to somebody that's interested in doing it? And before, I'll just say that you are one of almost every writer I've ever talked to that talks about these actions. Yours is thinking about the book before you went to bed and jotting things down. Somebody told me they go on walks and think about books. That walking is writing. Dreaming is writing.
Yeah.
It's interesting to me that because I think some people think they need to get out, I write on paper, but get out a computer, sit at a desk, and that's the action. Yeah. But really, it can be a million things.
Oh yeah. I am not a planner. I couldn't write an outline to save my life. Like I genuinely think writing a synopsis is harder than writing a whole manuscript. So I'm really a vibes-based writer. I also love walks. I love hitting shuffle on Spotify and seeing what comes up and then writing to that emotion. I think to go back to the question of what would my advice be, it's like you have to get your characters right first. They have to feel so lived in. And I feel like so pretentious when I say this, but like, I love letting Abby make her own decisions and just kind of letting her take the lead and seeing what feels right. But you can't get there until you really understand who your characters are as people. So just spend a lot of time with them in your head when you're falling asleep, when you're zoning out at work. A book is a good idea if you can't stop thinking about it. Mm-hmm. And that's what's happened with all of the books that I've written.
Mm-hmm. And especially the one that you published.
Yeah, and especially I happen to be kind of partial to this one. Yeah.
Soccer is a huge part of this. I've said this is sort of female-focused Ted Lasso, only in that it takes place at a soccer club.
Yeah.
And humor is a huge part of it too. They're very funny, sort of absurd situations that Abby finds herself in. How did you first fall in love with soccer? Football.
Yes,
you get mad
thank
when
you.
I call it soccer?
No, I just keep going back and forth in my head. When I'm in the UK, I call it football and I don't even think about it. But here now I just keep saying both. So probably really confusing people. We can call it soccer. That's fine. You don't have to translate for me.
Okay. Well, you don't have to translate for me. If you'd like to call it football, you can.
Yeah. How did I fall in love with it? I fell in love with it because I fell in love with a boy. Classic girl meets boy, girl is obsessed with boy.
This is at Harvard?
This is at Harvard. Yeah, this is my senior year. I had finished all my classes, and so it's like senior spring, and I was just having a good time. Like, let's make the most of this before we go. And he lived in my dorm, and I thought that the best way to get him to fall in love with me was to pretend that I really cared about soccer. He was a big fan of a team called Liverpool who play in the English Premier League. And so we would sit in the basement of our dorm for hours and just watch soccer. And I was like, yeah, look at him. Oh, he kicked it. Oh, no, he didn't quite score there, did he? And I'm sure this guy was like, will she ever shut up? I'm trying to watch the game. Over time, I realized that I was actually really enjoying the game and maybe wasn't enjoying him as much. And so our love affair did not last, but my love affair.
You actually went to his wedding?
I did go to his wedding. There was a taco truck. It was amazing. Yeah, 10 out of 10. I love his wife. So
did she know all this?
Now
she does.
I was actually texting him this morning because he's on a group chat with like all his boys, and they're all making fun of him because I keep mentioning that I was in love with him, which I don't know why that means it's funny for him. It's definitely mortifying for me. But yeah, she probably knows now anyway. Mm-hmm. Hope you're cool, LJ.
You know what's so wild is that after we were in Kansas together.
Yeah.
And we went into a after party or whatever.
Yeah.
A hang.
And
a bunch of people were there. And I'm not kidding. I got into a dozen conversations of people who were like, oh, I had an ex-boyfriend and this word for word, who loved Steely Dan. And then I fell in love with Steely Dan.
Yeah.
Or I had a boyfriend who liked reggae. And then all of a sudden I was downloading Jimmy Cliff.
Yeah.
And I know for a fact, and this is reversed, but my husband did not like cats. He was not a cat person.
The musical or the animal?
The animal.
Okay.
The musical.
We'll see. Jury's still out.
But the Jellicle Ball people are liking if you have time when you're in New York City.
I know. I really want to go try to see it.
The Jellicle Ball is. Listen. I like cats. It's weird.
Yeah. Yeah.
It's strange. Some weird stuff is going down there.
Definitely.
Like they're waiting to go to heaven. I think.
Yeah. The heavy side layer. I can't get into the mythology.
And also that poor old washed up cat.
Yeah.
No.
It makes me sad.
Isabella.
As a person who loved Cats the animal, yeah.
So I love Cats the animal.
Let's do a cat
My husband,
spin-off.
I know, wow, that really took a turn. My husband did not like cats. He now does. So
yeah.
I guess what I'm saying is a lot of failed relationships can lead us.
Yeah.
Well, and actually my husband, we don't have a failed relationship. Relationships.
Breaking news.
Yeah, wow. We're manifesting a soccer husband for you. Okay. Relationships can lead us into these passions.
Yes.
What is it about football?
Yeah. Thank you.
And also, you have to talk about this. It seems serendipitous that this would publish when the World Cup is here in the United States of America. You're from Kansas.
Yes. Big soccer town.
But this is sort of your doing.
Yes. I will say this is like the one thing I will take credit for. And I've been so lucky to be surrounded by your team, and the teams at Penguin Random House have been incredible. But from the get-go, I thought to myself, if I can do this, and if the timing works out, this could come out in summer 2026 when the World Cup is happening, and the one time every 4 years that Americans care about soccer. And now it's like people keep posting like, oh my God, this is such good timing for the World Cup. Yes, that was intentional. Like, remember.
But even I, the publisher, am like, isn't this great
Yeah.
timing, everybody?
Yeah.
Because I wasn't the one that had to write it and think about how to get it done
Yeah.
in time for it to be here.
I was working on 2 books at the same time in 2023. I was working on this one and another one. And I had to make a decision because I couldn't sustain working on both. And that really weighed into the calculus, was like, publishing takes a long time. If you can edit this and sell it, it won't come out until 2026 anyway. So you have to finish this one because this is going to be a huge zeitgeisty moment. You can't let it slip away. And I'm very glad that it all worked out, and it's been so fun. My favorite thing is when people on Instagram say, I loved this book and it really made me want to watch the World Cup, and I'm annoyed it took me so long to get into it, but like here I am at the bar with a pint of beer watching the game. It makes me so happy.
Well, and for some of us, we can take it to the game.
Yes. Yeah. I got to go to a game. I know.
Right? I mean,
yeah,
I
that's
like
right.
soccer. I like football.
Yeah.
But I really like this book.
Well, and you know, some of the games, some of them are boring.
Whoa.
Yeah.
Coming from you?
Hot take. Nobody necessarily wants to watch a game that ends 0-0.
Yeah.
I get it.
Yes.
So yeah, just have Abby in your pocket.
What is it about football? And the fact, I mean, one of the things that's so wild is like, yes, you fell in love with it and adore him in Cambridge, but then you now live in the UK.
Yes.
You're like a real fan.
I'm a real fan. Yeah. It's a lot easier to watch it in the UK because people care about it and you don't have to wake up. When I first got into it, I was doing, like right after I graduated, I was doing Teach for America in Charlotte, North Carolina.
You've lived like 1,744 lives.
At least. Yeah. Like sometimes in the span of a year. Yeah.
You are a real cat.
Yes. Thank you. I hope
That's a compliment for me.
I hope to make it to the heavy side layer. The games, they're on sometimes starting as early as noon in the UK. So I was waking up at 7 a.m, going to the one bar in Charlotte that would show games, dragging along my best friend who had no interest and would sit at the bar and like paint her nails and watch So You Think You Can Dance videos on her phone while me and all the lads were like, oh, come on, Liverpool. So that was
how you call them lads.
They're the boys. Yeah, they're the lads.
Yeah.
So that was a surreal experience. And then getting to replicate that in the UK when it was not surreal, it was just a thing that people did on the weekend, was a lot better.
And you still do that?
I still do that. Yeah. I still get the boys together. I have a couple of good Liverpool friends in London. So
I love it.
It's just like, I love the World Cup the most because you get to experience being something that's so much bigger than yourself. I mean, there are 4 or 5 billion people watching. That's just crazy. And the memes and the Shakira of it all, I just, the
ranch
vibes.
Dressing.
I'm loving the ranch dressing. That German fan who is like driving to like, oh my God, I've made a pilgrimage to Taco Bell and Waffle House. I'm obsessed with him. Like,
yeah.
He's getting to discover these like great parts of America in a really funny way.
And also, I feel like obviously we're connected more in some ways via the internet.
Yeah.
But also, where people are lonely,
Yeah.
So a way to bring us all together, the world together, does not happen with many different experiences.
Totally. Everything in the world right now feels like it's conspiring to push us apart from each other and to make you feel jealous and to make you feel angry, and like the algorithm feeds on your discontent. And then you remember that like you can go watch 22 men kick a ball around for 90 minutes and forget about it. And also a lot of them are like stupid handsome. So that really helps.
Speaking of one of the main characters in your book,
yes.
Lachlan.
Yeah, love him.
He's hot.
I agree.
And smart.
Yeah.
And Scottish.
3 for 3. That's all I ever want. And he's a really good cook, which is just a bonus.
Yes.
Which feels unfair.
How did you make him feel so sort of real? Because I feel like I will say, and some of the people producing this know this about me, I'm not like automatically drawn to rom-coms.
Yeah.
I'm not. And in fact, yours is one of the first I've read and really loved in the last while.
Thank you.
You're welcome.
Yeah.
But so one of the reasons why I like them is like, yes, it has that optimism and that joy that we both need, that the world needs.
Yeah.
But it also has these 3-dimensional characters, and Lachlan is one of them.
Yeah. I think the best rom-coms, movies, books, everything, are ones where the love interest is a fully fledged human. Nobody wants somebody who just exists to like satisfy the needs of the woman, or like just be this blank slate that she can project onto. That's not interesting to me, because that's not how real people fall in love. Like, real people have flaws, and they have backstories, and they have things that grate on their partner and things that make their partner better. And so that's one of the really satisfying things about writing rom-coms, is thinking about the female character and then thinking about what kind of man is going to make her better, and what kind of man can she make better. And this story of Lachlan and Abby is two people who met each other at a time of immense need. They both are going through heartbreak. They both have a lot of emotional baggage, and they just come together and form this deep, deep friendship that then slowly turns into something more. And it's so satisfying to think about how a person can help you on that journey, and then how you would feel towards them as they made you a better person.
I love that.
Yeah.
So you grew up some in Boston,
yeah,
and then some in Kansas.
Yep.
You said you weren't like writing in your diary, dear diary, I'm going to write a book when I'm older.
Right.
What were you writing in your diary?
Well, speaking of cats, I went home and I found possibly the first story I ever published, and it goes, this is it in its entirety. There was a mama cat and a baby cat. So
the end.
The end.
How old were you?
Hello,
when you wrote that?
Pulitzer. Like, I'm ready for my prize.
How old were you when you wrote that masterpiece?
I think I was 5, maybe. Yeah. So a strong beginning, a strong end. The middle needed some work.
Like, what type of kid were you?
I was an indoor kid.
Everything goes back to cats.
I know, right? Yeah. Both of my brothers are big sporty people. And my dad loves sports. I grew up in a very sports forward house. So I love watching sports, but I am not a good player of sports. There's a great video of when I'm like 14 maybe, and we're at my grandparents' house for Christmas, and all of my brothers and cousins are outside playing with like stomp rockets. And then my dad just does this very slow pan back into the house where I'm sitting on the couch reading West Wing scripts, like a book of West Wing scripts.
That's very niche.
So that's what kind of kid I was. Yeah.
So you said you couldn't have dreamt of this, but what did you love to read when you were young and an adult too?
Yeah. I was a big horse girl. I read a lot of like Saddle Club books.
Did you ride horses?
I rode horses. Yes. I was like briefly a show jumper.
Oh, wow.
I mean, lower the expectations. We're talking like jumping over a foot and a half, not like Olympic style, but it's still cool.
Imagine what you want.
Yeah, exactly.
Imagine what you will.
Yeah. So I loved horses. I loved politics. I was really into the West Wing. I thought for sure I was going to have a career in government. What did I love to read? I remember like the first book that really moved me was Barbara Kingsolver. What is the one in Africa? Yes, thank you. I was like, I just kept thinking Demon Copperhead.
Yeah,
that was the first book I ever read 2 years ago. The Poisonwood Bible. And just like,
there's nobody better.
Yeah, it just blew my world open, because it was the first sort of grown-up book that I read. And I just thought, oh my God, you can build worlds like that. All I want to do is slip into these worlds. So yeah, I was definitely a big reader.
So now that you are a published author,
yeah,
do you want to write more?
Yes, very much so. I get new ideas all the time, and then we just sort of let them rattle around for a little bit until one of them sticks. But yeah, I'm working on the second book now. We're deep in a round of edits with my amazing editors in the US and the UK. Hopefully that'll come out sometime next year. And it's another American moves to the UK because write what you know, but she's a very different character from Abby. And I have a really exciting idea for something that will come after that, and then after that as well. So
I think one of the things that is so apparent about you, if anybody spends time with you, is that you're hilarious.
Thank you.
And if people have listened, they've heard some of it. You've said you've done some ridiculous things, like when we sat on a panel at BookCon, which is like, imagine a con, you get it, but it's all book lovers.
Yeah.
And we were sitting on a stage. We had two other authors with us, Ariel Sullivan and Emma Brody, and at each of them. And I think the question was, what got you through?
Yeah.
When it was really hard.
Yeah. It's like,
write?
who do you
turn to?
Yeah. What do you turn to? What got you through?
Yeah. What got you through? And Ariel told this incredible story about her children and how, they taught her not to fear. She used this analogy of her son jumping off a diving board. And he said, Mommy, I finally did it. I finally did it. And then she said, well, what made, it's like the rose. And then what was the thorn? That it took me so long. And then that gave her the courage to publish.
Yeah.
And then Emma said her husband, when she feels down, she goes to him and that support. And then Anna said, Chipotle. She just said, Chipotle has gotten me through in hard times.
I care as much about Chipotle as people care about their children and spouses. I think that's actually probably true.
Yes. And I tell this story because I found it so endearing.
Yeah.
And we laughed hysterically.
Yeah.
But I wonder, what humor gives you.
I love moments like that because I am sometimes uncomfortable with emotions. I don't like emoting publicly. I don't like a kind of a poignant silence. I want to fill it. And I love making people laugh. I think there's nothing better. I've always had funny friends, and they're just the thrill of making people laugh that I find funny, I think is it's just the best.
I know.
So I'll always go for the joke, and it's I'm very lucky that in that situation and in conversations like this that we can play around, right?
Yeah. Well, and in your writing, and I feel like humor is one of those things that without it, the world would be very dark because it's such a necessary element. Yeah. Like if I've been in a mode with people I love where we haven't laughed at something recently, I'm like, what is up? So I wonder humor in your work, like what that means, because it's one thing when you're making a friend laugh, but when you're making all of these readers.
Yeah. There's so much in the world that's not funny and that's real and heavy and that we do need to care about, but at a certain point, you do have to put some levity into it because, you only get one go round, and I would rather spend it having a good time. And I try to infuse that into the books. It's a lot harder to write comedy because you have to be the setup and the punchline. Yes. So I'll find these long winding ways to make sure that the joke will land, which is, in real life, we just riff off each other. So maybe I need a co-author. And
yes.
You think
no, you don't need a co-author. You do it perfectly by yourself.
But it's fun to do Abby's internal monologue because she has these very sort of wry thoughts. She's very sarcastic. She's a little cynical sometimes, which is a humor that I find funny. Mm-hmm. So it was really fun to watch the world through her eyes and see how she would find humor in the situations.
Well, she's also not perfect.
No.
And I know that was intentional.
Yeah, I think I'm not perfect. I don't know who is perfect,
and
right?
Perfection is also, or at least the feign of perfection is boring.
Totally. And she's also not striving to be perfect. I think there's like a minor subplot in the book about her boss is concerned that she's trying to piggyback on the team to become famous in her own right, on Twitter, as it was called then. And she's horrified by this idea because she has no desire to be held up as an example of anything. She's just trying to make it through life. Mm-hmm. And I think that's the kind of person that I want to be friends with, somebody who recognizes their limitations and is just trying to make their way through. That's why she is the way she is.
Mm-hmm. So finally, if you could give somebody advice who's thinking about, okay, it's time. I want to go, I want to move, I want to, change my life.
Yeah.
What would you say?
Eyes wide open, 10 toes down, like just do it and don't look back and don't go into it with an expiration date. Just make the decision and have the courage of your convictions. And if you surround yourself with the right people, it'll work out the way it's supposed to.
I love that. Okay, quick. I said last, but I lied.
Last one before 10 more.
I want to do a rapid fire.
Ooh, okay,
So
great.
yeah, probably about 10 more.
Here we go.
Favorite romance trope, and I know this is complicated.
Yes.
That you'll never get tired of, and you can explain how you feel about tropes.
Okay.
But your favorite one too.
My favorite one, I think, is enemies to lovers, which is really hard to do, especially in contemporary, because like who has enemies? We have people that we don't like, but like you don't have enemies. So when it's done well, or sometimes when you just need to read some romantasy, that one really hits for me.
Is that your Jane Austen in you?
Yes. Oh my God.
I knew it.
Well, one of the books, the second book that I finished and tried to sell was a gender swapped Pride and Prejudice retelling where Darcy is a modern day woman and she's rich and aloof and like So
yes,
it's the best.
Yes.
It's the best trope.
Yes.
Yeah.
And you're feeling on tropes as you are right.
I never shoehorn a trope in. I don't write to a trope. If it comes up because it's natural and it's something that would happen in real life, I'll put it in. But I don't sit down and say, okay, this book is going to be friends to lovers, forced proximity, only one bed. And I know some people do that, and that's great.
You said only one bed.
That's a big trope. Like, I'm a bad bed sharer, so that's never going to be.
Do you watch Off Campus?
I haven't yet, but yeah. It's
what
like
have you
that
been
kind of
doing?
thing.
Publicizing a book?
I know, right?
Come on, download it.
It's just like scrolling Instagram until my thumbs hurt. Yeah.
You're like, yes, I have.
Yes, that's literally what I've been doing.
There wasn't only one bed in there.
Yeah, it's a big trope.
I didn't put that together, but
yeah.
Yes, you're right. Okay, what's harder, building the world or making readers believe the love story?
I think making people believe the love story, because if you like, building the world is building the love story, and so you've got to really make the characters sing, and make it feel like, God, these people love each other.
And we joked, or you joked. I'm just jumping on your coattails. I'm using your jokes as my jokes.
Yeah,
now.
Sure, you can have them.
About the character, you were like, wow, how, brilliant, characters first. But really, you are that type of writer.
Yes. Yeah. And like, this book is a very specific setting. It's at a football club. A lot of people don't have experience with that. So it was important to me to get that right. But at the end of the day, you're not reading the book because you want to know how the fictional Mersey FC runs. You're reading it because you want to watch these people kiss.
We need to get this book into the hands of some Mersey FC people.
I know. Yeah. Or their equivalents in the real world.
Yes.
Yeah. Liverpool, if you're listening.
Oh.
Just kidding.
Sometimes I get Mersey and Liverpool confused.
Yeah. Well, for legal reasons, obviously, this is not based on any real club.
Okay.
But yeah, it's Liverpool.
But if it could.
Yeah.
Okay. Fictional couple that made you believe in love growing up.
Oh, I feel like I have to say Darcy and Elizabeth now.
Yes.
Yeah. I also like Sense and Sensibility. I like all the couples in that one.
Yes.
Any Jane was great.
Actually, Jane's couples.
My dear friend Jane.
What are your characters' zodiac signs?
Oh my God. I have to say I'm not an astrology person.
I can't believe it, because you literally, and I don't use this word lightly because it is used as whatever, but you basically know everything about everything.
I know. I just like.
Okay, should I tell you what I think they are?
Yes, please.
Even though I'm not. I think Abby is probably a Leo.
Okay.
I don't know why.
Great.
But Leos are bold to take up to, or Sagittarius, which is also my sign.
Yeah, nice.
But that's because I see myself in her. But to uproot your entire life, takes some adventurousness.
Some courage, yeah. Courage.
Okay. Lachlan, I'm like, I need what? Lachlan would be like what? Like a Cancer? Yeah, is that a Cancer? Taurus.
A Taurus. Okay.
He's a Taurus.
So I put birthdays in books when I need them for plot points. So maybe the next book I'll think more about their
Maybe
signs.
then you need to take a class.
I know.
In between your spare time.
Anybody can come and try to teach me it. I'm willing to learn.
Owen, I'm right over here, can do that.
Okay, good.
What book made you fall in love with reading? I think we know this.
Yeah,
one.
Poisonwood Bible.
Okay. If you could spend a day with any book characters, who would it be and why?
Ooh. God.
This is a hard one.
It's so hard. I like Bridget Jones.
Oh, yeah.
What a riot. Her friend group, I love. And I know that
But
is a
that's
Pride and
funny.
Prejudice retelling.
That's also kind of a comp for this. I
Yeah.
never thought about that, but I loved Bridget Jones when
Yeah.
I read it. I remember I was in high school.
Oh, yeah.
I'm old, but I remember like loving that she was kind of all over the place.
Yeah, she's all over the place, and she has friends that are just as messy as her.
Yeah.
And they're like, the one who's the pop singer who always thinks people are talking about him, like, hilarious. I would die to be in their crew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Something tells me you're sort of creating your own.
Yeah, I'm friends with a lot of
Crew.
washed up pop singers. Yeah.
Your own crew.
Yeah.
Okay. Favorite rom-com?
Movie?
Yes.
When Harry Met Sally.
Oh yeah.
It's perfect. I think it's maybe the perfect movie. That and Jurassic Park.
I know you love Jurassic Park. When I was in debate team at Austin High School,
Nice.
My partner and I, this is strange that we did this in debate team, and I've wondered why
Yeah.
in my late life.
Let's unpack it,
But
Jenna.
we did scenes from films too. I think it was
Oh,
teaching
you
us
did
how to-
forensics, maybe.
Is that what it is?
Yeah,
See?
that was like the performance
Yes,
half.
yes.
I did it too.
Okay, good.
Yeah.
Well, we performed that that very specific When Harry Met Sally scene.
It's so good. I just think it's brilliant.
It really is. Okay, team bangs or no bangs?
As much as I would love to have bangs because I have an enormous forehead, I'm team. Yeah, it's a 5-head, Jenna. It's okay. I've come to terms with it. I'm team no bangs. Yeah.
That's when she cuts the bangs, we know everything's over.
That's rock bottom. Yeah, Abby, you gotta pull yourself out of that tailspin.
For anybody that's in the midst of a breakup,
Yeah, do it because you need to, but grow them out
as fast as you
fast
can.
as you can.
Okay.
Yeah.
And you're the most delightful. I cannot wait. I am so jealous for anybody that has not read this book. That's something that happens.
Yeah.
When have already read something you love, there's a certain type of jealousy. Like when I looked out to all of those audience members when we did our event, I was like, all of you get to fall in love with these characters for the first time.
It's so exciting. And I have books like that I wish I could eternal sunshine my brain and read for the first time. So I do love that. I'm very excited for people who are about to experience
it. Well, congratulations.
Thank you. Thank you so much.
Thank you. Thanks so much for joining me on Open Book with Jenna. If you enjoyed our conversation, be sure to like, subscribe, and share the episode. And drop us a comment. We'd love to hear your thoughts. I'll see you next time.
Hey, thanks for watching. And don't forget, you can catch the Today Show every morning on NBC or take Today when you're on the go. Just follow the Today podcast on Apple Podcasts, Spotify, or wherever you listen.